was in a relationship last year. This time, we kind of actually this exact time last year. I think we locked it around this time. Yeah. Since then, I've been encouraged to to pursue my arts and my talents in music. I didn't know I had an affinity. I was kind of just pushing it away. I couldn't give due time to myself. I couldn't give due time to herself neither. In that space of being apart and working on myself, I have learned to. My confidence has risen, and not my confidence in terms of, oh look, I'm around you. I don't, no disrespect, but I don't care. If I'm around you guys by myself, I stay the same. That's how it needs to be. But when I was in that relationship, because I didn't have time to just focus on myself, I'm trying to focus on her and myself at the same time. I ain't got time to fully perfect and better myself. I'm not saying there's like I'm working to a goal. Yeah, I have 20-inch biceps and I'll be eating 5 times a day and I'll have a yard. I know there's no such clear goal like that. So there's no actual destination for me to reach to. But it's a place, not a feeling, a place in my mind and in my heart, especially in my walk, that I know, you know what, now, me, I got room, you know, on this shit for a woman to come on board now. I got room one day. Right now, I got room for friends, which you know, because iron sharpens iron, the scripture says. So I've got room for friends. But as for a woman that's going to be 24/7, that I'm going to be one body with, they ain't going to be my flesh no more. I have to be, regardless of being 100%, like you so rightly said before, there's no such, oh, you're never ready. No such, even driving, you can do the test, you can revise, do the test, alright, cool, I got a piece of paper and I say I can drive. But does that mean I'm the best driver? Does that mean I can drive on the motorway? No, experience. So I understand what you're saying. But nonetheless, there are things we can do to ensure that our success rate and just stability rate, I say, because stability is a good thing in a relationship Definitely. Too. You can't have something up and down. What kind of thing is that? And our rate stays consistent. And so for driving, be pass plus. They got that thing that you do before the lessons or whatever it is. It's another thing to improve your road safety, your road know-how, and all that stuff. And that's exactly what I'm doing.
Wisdom. Personally, and that's why I 100% feel that, you know, were you to get into a relationship with someone within your remit, you would be, you know, even better in terms of where you're trying to go, because someone in your remit, you know, understands you. You know, they understand your walk, you know, your struggle. They're with you. They trust you. You know, you trust them. You've been exposed they've been exposed to certain things about you that no one else knows, you know, and they get to share the word with you. You know, they're also Christians. They're the same. They're trying to achieve the same goals, the same things as you. You can also share your limitations with them, in the sense of you know, that I'm weak at this. You know, when we're at this particular part, so let's not do that. You know, or I get weak when we do this, let's not do that. Or my strong point is this when we do this. You know, you're more likely to have that sort of conversation with them because they're within your remit. You know, you're building up together. You're the same. You're trying to achieve the same goals together. You know, being in Open House and being in Lighthouse. You know,
these groups that you belong to.
I honestly feel that if you were to get into a relationship with someone within that remit, it will be more successful in terms of what you will achieve in that relationship than to as opposed to just meeting someone externally, you know, because they might not really understand where you're coming from, where you're trying to go, and also where you're at that particular point. A lot of people in your remit probably do. Another thing is that you build a friendship with them. So it's very important to have a friendship with your partner. And within that remit, you've been able to build up a friendship with them. So in terms of going forward and in your relationship, you know, that friendship counts for a lot, you know, and all you're doing is just elevating it to a deeper level, you know, a higher level in that sense.
Progression.
And I just feel that, you know, just because you're doing you at the same time right now doesn't necessarily mean that at the same time, you know, you can't be courting someone. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be in a full-blown relationship or get married or that. You know what I'm trying to say? Because sometimes I personally feel that, you know, to get to the next level, a man needs a woman. You know, a woman that will tell you how it is. You know, pull you to fix up your act. You know what I'm saying? Not, and you know, so a woman that's also a leader who can lead you as much as you can lead her. You know, and
I agree.
And that's what I personally feel, and I feel, you know, there are some good girls within the remit of the groups that, you know, you boys are in, you know, as opposed to what's externally out there. And rather than you lot tapping into that resource and benefiting from that, you know, you find yourself maybe looking for not you personally, I'm saying looking for external things that wouldn't be able to, you know, match up to the certain girls already in your remit.
Can I just slow it down for one sec? Sir, I know you was on a roll there. I know you was on a Let me just slow it down for one sec. You were saying in the beginning, like, you know, me, I don't like this. Like, so this is in the realms of me talking with my woman now. So I was, yeah, you know what, I don't really like this. Oh, you know, next time let's try like this. Next time let's try like that kind of thing. See, me, okay, I'm supposed to be the leader. When I say me, I'm not talking about that. That's how I am. Forget that. That's what the word says. I'm supposed to be. And this is for every man. And even a sister as well that's sitting here today, man on the camera as well. Every man here. That's my role, that's my position, that's the role I'm supposed to play properly. I need to play that to the full effect. I cannot be telling this woman, hey babes, come on in. Oh, you're not my bunny, but you know what I'm saying. Hey, like, cook. No, definitely not. Never, I said, come, like, you know, come, you know, like, whatever, like, lady, darling, whatever you want to call. I said, come, let's go. And I don't know where I'm going. Can you imagine? That's dead. Have you ever been on a date and you don't know what you guys are doing? It's dead. You're walking around collecting dust, pollution. It's coming on top.
I think. No, but if you go back to your own little metaphor in terms of the driving, when you're practicing and you're preparing for your test and you get things, what are you preparing in? You're preparing in a car. So although you're saying I can drive the car now, you did your preparing. You've prepared this by. So if you put it back, you was in a relationship, or you was in this with this person, and you grew. A lot of people I know, they go and practice in a certain car. They go out and they go buy a different car and don't feel the same.
Completely different.
It's completely different. But it's like the fact is, when you've got there and you've got your little pink license or whatever, you've grown with that vehicle. You've grown, and so when you get there and you're doing your experience, for me, it's like, it's not saying that you can't go and get a brand new car or whatever, but I'm just saying it helped the vehicle that got you to that point where you've passed your test and now you can go out and do a thing. That was instrumental in preparing you and getting to you where you were in the first place, which goes back to what he was saying. It's like, it's not saying just because you're dating that means that you're courting someone. That means that's the person you're going to marry. Because like you said, you are young, you don't know what's going to happen. We are at an age where just because you're dating, you've dated someone, especially when you're like early 20s. I don't know, for me it's a bit young, isn't it? It's different for everyone else. But like you said, you're not ready. So that just because you're not ready for marriage, and maybe that's what you're thinking when you get into a relationship, means you're going to marry the person. Just because. Well,
that would be the intention, though, wouldn't it?
That would be your end intention, yeah.
But I wouldn't just get into something.
No, I'm not saying go. I'm not saying
the first woman you date don't mean you're gonna marry.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're going. It doesn't mean just because you're dating someone, you could say that person might have the potential, but it doesn't mean you're going to marry them.
I personally myself just to flip back to
that means
what you said.
you're basically saying that as soon as you're only going to date when you think you're going to marry the person. And until you actually experience something, how do you know that?
I need to see something
How
feasible.
do you make that decision before you start dating?
I must see something feasible with her in the but I must see something feasible with her in the long run for me to even approach her.
Yeah,
why are you wasting time?
I'm not saying. That's what I'm saying.
Sorry, just to go back to your other thing.
You should date any person. I'm saying you should date someone that you see has potential, but don't think just because they have potential they're going to be the one that you're going to marry.
I just wanted to go back to you were saying about what am I training in, going back to my analogy of the vehicle. I'm going to get to this point, I like this point, but I have a previous point I need to make. You say I was in the vehicle, so what was I learning in? No. So that comparison is false. I'll tell you where the actual comparison lies. The actual comparison lies with me talking to you now. Me talking to sisters, me not congregating, just jamming amongst sisters. That's practice. That's a vehicle, because I learned how to speak to a woman, and I learned how to not accept, but just learn how to get along with her, talk with her. That's another sister standing there.
But
That's practice.
I understand what you're
Family,
saying. That is practice to
random
speak
people I don't
with
know.
someone of the opposite sex. But that's not practice for a
It's not
relationship.
practice for a relationship.
That's practice
Of
for
course it is.
that's not practice
No,
for
no,
that's
he
not
was
for,
talking
for
about
a
my
marriage
circles.
relationship.
It's not
That's
practice
not a
for
marriage
a
relationship.
relationship.
Because
That's
the
not
way
practice for a relationship.
the way
Tell them,
remember
no.
what we was talking about before, yeah?
You think
About
it's
talking
not
about
practice for a relationship.
dating people in you wouldn't date someone in your church group, or you wouldn't date someone you don't think you're going to be able to. So if you think that person who you're saying you're practicing with, if you can't see that you would be able to marry them, how can you say that's practice for a
It
relationship?
is practice, but of course
But
it's
you
practice.
just said, but you
Of
said
course it's practice.
previously you wouldn't be
I've
you're not
deduced from
sure
that. I've
you
stepped
would
into
date
that vehicle.
person.
I've stepped into that vehicle to see if I date them. For me to come out of that vehicle now and make a deduction that me and this person cannot progress as one,
No,
I've obviously
I
given that a
understand
go.
that. I
And what you're
understand
saying is, and to go to my man over here, what you're saying is, it doesn't make sense, or it's not a practice relationship. It is. I'll tell you why.
Go on.
Because when I first met one sister that goes to our open house, a sister. So
You can buzz the name
no,
out.
no, no. The reason why I went quiet there, so we can go quiet on there, and you can just
beep the
edit
name
it
out.
out.
Yeah, you can buzz
Sorry
the
about
name.
that, my
You
man.
can buzz- you can
There's
buzz
one
the name.
sister I know at church. So when she first come to church, there's a hello, bye, you know. Okay, and then slowly progress to hugs, you know, and all this, you know, and it's not meaning anything. Like it's just love. Like after the sermon, you had the wicked sermon. Oh, where you at, man? You know, you want to do all of that.
Yeah.
Cool. I start spending time with her in a group and one to one. Our friendship, and that never turned into anything kind of, oh, this is practice, oh, we caught it. That never turned to enough. That was, hold on, that was just pure friendship. And in the realms of that friendship, of us growing deeper, and in the realms of us fellowshipping, that is where the practice lied. Because then I understood, wow, this is a sister. And for my wife, for a woman to be elected to that role in my life of my woman, the other half of my flesh, I must see her as a sister first. So it's the perfect practice, and it does make sense. Yes, in my remit, because I have more, you know, I'm more fellowshipping with them, I'm chilling out with them, and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's right. But today I just come from a sermon. I got to talk to one sister today. She was outside of my remit. Obviously, we as men, we're visual creatures. So I saw what I liked. I went over there and I introduced myself. We was talking, busting a few jokes. Then the thunder and the rain came. Her husband and her boyfriend came to sit down, and you know it was game over. But I was like, no, but I wasn't putting no game on it. Obviously, that's not Christ-like anyway. Oh yeah, that's not Christ-like. I was doing my thing. I was talking nicely. So it doesn't necessarily mean I have to go into my remit. No, if I don't see I'm a visual person, especially as a male. If I don't see something that kind of bang.
But the question comes down to this though.
All right,
Are there any girls on your remit, within that remit, that group, that you find attractive?
yeah, there's some pretty sisters in it,
Okay.
definitely. But attractive enough for me to rise up off my feet and say, oh, how you doing? Or, you know,
When I'm talking about attraction, I'm not just talking about visually, bruv. I'm talking about their personality, by their ambitions, their goals, what they want out of life. That's what I mean. So I'm not just talking about what you're looking at. Because if
Obviously
that's
as
what
male,
you're talking about,
What
then
attracted you're
maybe not
married,
ready
right?
for a relationship. Sorry?
You're married, right?
Yeah.
So what attracted to your wife first? You didn't know her. This is before you any kind of communication. It's her looks, no? That's what attracted you
Not
to her.
necessarily.
Maybe her mannerisms, but it's from what you saw, nonetheless. Because you couldn't. I know you didn't hear what she was thinking. Oh, well, that's not
I'll
thinking
give you
about
an
it
example.
right
I'll
now.
say probably about maybe 35% might have been visually.
But
So
nonetheless-
visually is not the main thing.
But did it not bring you to her though? Of course it
No,
did.
because I met her physically. But
Of
obviously you have
course.
to meet someone physically.
Of course.
But I wouldn't say, you know,
But that's the 100%.
that was the reason why I 2 months later decided to get in contact with her. You see what I'm trying to say?
No, but where
So
did it
the
all
point I'm trying-
originate from? From the look.
Well,
If
from,
she didn't
from
grab you-
meeting the person.
But if she didn't grab your eyesight, you wouldn't have met her
from
though, would
meeting the
you?
person. If I had my desired choice, I'd want to marry someone that looks like, just for example, Beyonce. But that's a juvenile mindset though, because I realise now that it's not really to do with the looks. Obviously, yes, I have specifications that I would like my wife to look at, but all in all, it does come down to their personality.
Of course.
Because you're going to be living with them.
But
you're
what
gonna be
drew you
spending
to her in
time
the
with
first
But they
place?
had a
What I'm
mutual
trying to say.
friend.
Oh, we got
They had a
introduced.
mutual
Oh,
friend.
you mean how did I meet her? Like,
Yeah, it weren't-
was
yeah,
an
it weren't
introduction.
chatting in the
Just
club.
someone introduced
Okay,
us.
okay.
So it wasn't like I approached her on the street and said, "Oh, give me your number."
Alright.
And that wasn't really my style anyway.
Okay.
Then, you know what I'm saying? And now. So that's not, I never
It can't be
encourage
now,
that.
you married.
Exactly, but I would never encourage that. Like, oh, just because you see a girl on the street, approach them and take the number. I don't think that's the right way of going.
Man, you're
You
right.
know what I'm saying? And that's why I do feel either introducing people,
You can invite her
Or-
to church though.
introductions, or within your remit is a fantastic way of meeting people and also getting into relationships, because you know what that person's all about. You know, you know, you can account for them. You know what I'm trying to say? Rather than just meeting some random girl on road, or if it's a girl meeting a random boy on road, coming to chat to them. You know what I'm saying? So, as what I'm saying to you, I would say exactly the same thing to the girls, because they're probably saying exactly the same thing that you're saying, which is, oh, yeah, you know, it's all about outside of that remit. You know, when I see something that I like, then or they chat to me or whatever.
I don't mean to make them like, you know, like sweets and that. Oh yeah, 50. You know, it's not like that.
No, I know. But
it's
what
not
I'm
like-
trying to say is within that
I don't wanna
remit,
make
though
them
they
sound
might
cheap.
not potentially have the right look, doesn't necessarily mean they're not potentially wifey material.
Oh, that's true.
For you.
But I need to have that. For me, there has to be that. You know, I can't just like I
You
want
might say that now.
Mm.
Can I just say, my partner.
Yeah, you're the great example. The two of you.
I knew my.
The two of you is
I
a
knew
great
for
example.
8 years before I started dating.
Great example.
I can. I just about. I remember when I met him.
Great example.
There was no
That's
physical
it.
attraction.
That's it.
There was between us. There was no physical. It was
Spark.
like there was no spark. There wasn't nothing there. It was just like, oh, this person goes to my uni. Oh yeah, you're right. Hi. Da, da, da. It was not. That was it. Said hello when you see. Do you know? After like even during that time in between before we started dating.
What was
we
the
didn't
definitive moment?
really spend that much time, so we didn't actually know each other that well. It was only maybe over the last few months, just before we started dating, that we actually started spending time
In the
together,
same room.
and we got to know each other, and we was in the same groups, and we started to hear each other's opinions, and we got to know the personalities a lot more than we did before. So now that we're dating, there was no big spark, there was no big, oh yeah, he looks great, she looks great.
The
There was nothing
tingling
like that.
moment.
There wasn't. That didn't happen. But it doesn't mean that the outcome in the end is any different. Because
But there was a definitive moment nonetheless, there wasn't there?
after we
After
got
you had
but
spending time.
it was spending time
So
together.
there is that spark
Yeah.
then. Of course
No,
there is
but
that spark.
it's not one day. You
Like
just
an instant spark, I get that.
no,
You have to work
it's
to
not
it.
exactly. It's getting to know the person. It's not about. It wasn't about looking at the person and saying, "Oh yeah, I want someone like
I want
that."
someone
Get
like
me,
that,
yeah.
It wasn't like that. It was the fact that you know what, like you said, you need to speak to the person. Once you speak to the person, and then over time that will develop. Like I said, this is 8 years down the line. Just because it didn't happen straight away does not mean it's not going to happen. That's why when certain people dismiss things, and to be honest, I dismissed it because other people used to say we could date, and I dismissed it. I was like, nah, we're friends and all that stuff. Because there was nothing. There wasn't. We hadn't reached that level where we felt anything for each other like that. We were well, from my point of view, he was a good person, and I understood him.
and I think
But we weren't. There wasn't anything that was just like, yes,
And I
this
think
is my
what
husband.
she's saying is this.
Sorry, you didn't get a feeling, yes, this is my husband.
Before we started that, yes, before.
Before.
No, before, obviously,
But do you have
obviously, now I can say yeah.
Exactly.
So I think.
But that's now. But like I said, that's 8 years after meeting.
I think what she's saying hits the nail on the head. I think it's the dismissal, the way people dismiss things. I'm sure if I was to like ask one of the girls, for example, in the remit, like, oh, could you see yourself like dating or marrying any of the guys in the remit? No, of course not. No. It's the whole dismissal of it all,
Yeah.
and the whole in denial of it all. Don't cut off your options. That could be your potential husband. That could be your potential wife. And there's nothing wrong with that, just because she's in your remit. You see what I'm trying to say? Be a bit more open-minded about that.
I don't
think the
understand.
dismissing
define this
I think
more
the
now. That's
what
dismissing
I'm
of
saying.
it,
Original
the
question.
dismissing of it made us take a bit longer because we both instantly dismissed the idea. We weren't open to it. Eventually we got there. But I think because I dismissed it. I think if I didn't dismiss it and I was more open to it in the first place, we might have got there sooner.
Okay, question and conclusion. What was the original question?
The original question is,
Dating people
could you
you-
see yourself dating someone in your remit, either be a friendship or be a group of some sort, or in your church, or any sort of,
Okay, so the question is more about the church's attitude to dating
towards
someone
dating people in your
remit,
circle, in your
and
close
why
circle.
it's become so. Why a lot of people put church mosques.
Yeah,
on,
but
and they're
mosques
not
on
honest enough
not
about it.
honest enough,
Mhm.
and yeah, and I think and I think you can always talk about this point in the sense that some of it might be down to a front, where some of them might feel like, oh, because I'm in church and because I'm doing this and pastors there, I have to look a certain way, I have to do a certain thing. So it's just about removing those sort of maybe masks that might be there and saying, look, this is probably the best place I'm going to meet my husband in this
Mhm.
moment.
What's that now though? What's what he said? Less as valid as what you just said was, and it is very valid. But let's not make any mistakes and get anything twisted in. That might be the case for one man, but I can tell you now, on my person, myself, that's not the case for me. It has nothing to do with the next person. Okay, you guys are speaking about dismissing. Cool. It has nothing to do with the next person. This is myself now. I know I'm not available like that. The only and I'm not trying to be like old
It took
church.
them 8 years, bro.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
no, but
So
exactly.
just don't be so dismissive
But-
about it.
It's a
Maybe
journey
you're not ready
nonetheless.
It's a
now.
journey.
Maybe
It's
you're
a
not ready
journey.
for
That's
any-
my little
any
teeny tiny
relationship.
Don't be
I can
so-
see there's a
If
little
you're saying
gap
that
in
you're
this
not ready for
conversation.
any relationship
Yeah.
now, yeah, that is different to saying you're not ready. You wouldn't date someone in your group. That's different.
No, man, I don't have. To be honest with you, not to sound no rude at all, but I have no time for nobody like that. To date, or nothing
In
like
general.
that.
In
Nah.
general, you mean?
I don't have no time. No,
That's
I have
the thing,
time for
that's- but
friendships,
that's different.
fellowships.
That's different.
I ain't got no, but I don't have business. I'm not open. My shutters on that front.
Yeah, but
It's just closed.
yeah, fair enough.
I
But
have
when
got
they do
internal
open,
work.
but
Yeah,
when they
fair
do
enough.
open, would you be open to people in your group?
Where if God so happens to guide my eyes upon a nice sister, or whatever she is, wherever she is, whatever gang she belongs to, and she's a Christian, then I'll follow on you guys and I'll tell you how it went. But till then, this is where I'm
But
at.
basically, what you're
The
saying is
shutters
that you
closed.
wouldn't put off the idea of.
No, man, I wouldn't. Why would I? If I can see my
dating
wife and
someone
her,
in your
right,
remit.
it's live.